But I think, hopefully learning as we go and improving things. But we just didn't have any production experience, so we came in kind of knowing how we wanted to write it, but not knowing anything about the casting process, the editing process, working with visual effects, working with a production designer, all that stuff that you need to know. And it's been a steep learning curve.
They would get behind a project and they would give it a solid commitment.
We'd never produced anything for television before. We'd never produced anything for film or internet or anything. We'd written before, but we never produced. So when we went to George, probably it was probably like that bluff where you mistakenly think you have a straight and you actually don't. But we were so confident that I think we convinced George that, well, these guys seem like they really know what they're doing.
I said, I want it done. I want a faithful adaptation of the books. And they said, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, out of the mouths of two con men out of the mouths of two con men, idiot spews forth. Thank you very much. Alrighty, well, we are going to have a fun stream today. We're going to be reading and chatting about the book Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon by James Hibbard. Allow me to bring in my guests. Please welcome. First off, we have. Oh my goodness, I hate it when it does this.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, Neph, and please also welcome Wolf.
This cannot be.
Those were lies, deception, every day of my lives.
Yeah, that's a blatant lie.
Yep. And please also welcome our newest guest. Welcome to.
Hello there.
General White Dragon.
That was my best performance. Everything else in later seasons was absolute shit for me.
Yeah.
Little brick wall piece of shit.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, it's because D&D don't know how to use cool things. Alrighty. So we're on chapter 2. Basically, all of this. The previous chapter was all about how they pitched the pilot and how they were lying to HBO about how much money it would cost, and they just gave a bunch of money to them, even though they had done nothing before.
Yeah, this is not what they should have done as their first. As their break into TV.
Nope.
It was nothing but lies and deception.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Shame.
I don't have to remind us of that.
For shame.
Abomination of a remake.
Yeah, Mulan was bad.
Never seen it.
I saw it for free, so.
And the person who got it, who also was streaming it, also got it for free.
Yeah, but let's keep going. Let's read. So, chapter 2, Casting Tales, and basically how it's going to work is we're just going to rotate through, and just each read a page to save each other's voices. Sound good?
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
Chapter 2, Casting Tales. Nothing about making Game of Thrones is easy. We're building a new fantasy world in a relatively limited budget. Nearly every aspect of production comes with an unprecedented degree of difficulty, starting with the casting. First, there are the sheer number of roles.
Roles.
Sorry, misread that. Thrones debut season had dozens of speaking parts and 20 core cast members, or series regulars. Tougher still made these roles were for children. Finding one excellent child actor can be hard enough. Thrones needed 6 star kids who could look and act like a cohesive family, while also handling adult content and making a years-long commitment to the show. Though HBO gave Thrones a generous budget, roughly $20 million was eventually spent on the pilot and then another $54 million on the rest of the season.
Wow, that's insane.
20 million? I thought it said in the last chapter that was 40 million because they had to redo it.
No, it was 20. So it was 10 million for the first thing, and then they had to reshot it, which was another 10 million.
Okay.
So, but that's for 20 million for for 20 million for one episode, 54 million for the other 9.
Yeesh.
That's a terrible disparity.
So the money was.
That's really weird.
Somebody must have been embezzling the money.
Yeah, my thought was like somebody's cooking the books there. That's a really weird disparity.
Just to think what you could have done with that kind of budget with competent writers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we could have had something absolutely positively brilliant.
We could have actually had that battle.
Yeah.
We could have had
This is like
the
13
seasons they were supposed to have.
So 74 million? Imagine if you get that in front of a couple of writers. They probably would have had an extra episode or 2 just to justify having that much money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And they'd use all the content from the books, no filler.
Yeah.
Well, one of the problem was they actually ran out of budget they had not filmed enough to fill a season. They were 40 minutes short of a full season. So they had to make up bits and pieces here and there and just paste them in.
There's enough material in each book for 2 seasons. How the hell
Yeah.
did they run out of material? What?
Well,
They can't tap materials.
Well, it's basically like they wanted to do a battle, but they realized it would take more money than they were allotted by HBO, and they thought they could get HBO to like fork out the cash, but HBO was like, "No, we are not giving you that extra money. We've already given you a ton of money. We're not giving you more. You can't steal it from us like you're stealing money out of our pocket for the friggin' pilot."
Jesus Christ, like 74 million for the entire season?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Anyways.
Yeah.
The money was needed to build out Martin's new fantasy universe. When you create sets for a period drama set in medieval times or in ancient Egypt or Rome, you can replicate designs from a historical record. Every set, costume, and prop in Martin's books need to be unique. For instance, Martin describes the seat of power in Westeros, the Iron Throne, as a towering monstrosity of spikes and jagged edges. Twisted metal forged from 1,000 swords to a piece of furniture so jagged and uncomfortable that it can literally kill a person, and has. Be right back.
Okay.
Oh dear.
How do you adapt that description into a realistic chair that blends in with its environment and that actors can sit in for hours during filming? Then there were all the computer-generated CG effects, far fewer than the show's latter seasons, but certainly more effects than any other TV show at the time.
I'm back.
Okay. You can pick up it.
So there wasn't much left in the budget for hiring a lot of well-known stars. The producers would instead have to largely cast girls the hard way by hunting through thousands of audition tapes.
So, White, your turn.
On paper, Game of Thrones is the stupidest idea. I was like, what the hell? They really said that? On the planet to invest in. Noted actor Liam
Cunningham,
who came on board in season 2 to play Davos Seaworth. Oh, that's what his name was. To have a production hanging on 9-year-old children in the pilot to get your thought the rest of the show. 11 years later, filling at least one major role, it seems like, would be rather easy because the perfect actor was obvious.
Mm,
Huh?
the problem here is they don't let people act.
Yeah.
They did for the first few seasons, but then they started letting the actors redecorate the roles. Yeah, their words, not mine.
Ugh.
We'll continue.
Yeah.
But it was also never racking.
Nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking. My screen's a little pixelated sometimes because my screen
Okay.
difference.
If you put it at full screen, it won't
Yeah,
pixelate.
you could try full screen. It makes it better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's what I'm doing.
Because the perfect actor was obvious, but it was also nerve-wracking because he wasn't initially interested. Tyrion Lannister, the cunning, sarcastic black sheep of the powerful Lannister family, is a fan favorite from Martin's books. Peter Dinklage was considered the ideal choice, as evidenced by his work in The Station Agent and his scene-stealing roles in Elf and Living in Oblivion. Elf? What was his role in Elf?
He was the short.
Everyone is short in Elf.
He was specifically the manager dude.
I'm about to watch that again.
Like, yeah, maybe we'll watch that as a palate cleanser. He's an angry elf.
Yeah, oh boy. If for those of you who don't know, Elf is a movie where essentially human gets adopted by elves, and then he has to reveal it's like, oh yeah, you're not elf, you're a human adopted that we adopted. Your real father is in New York. And we get it stars Will Ferrell as the titular elf.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yet, you gonna say more?
Yeah, keep going.
Yet Dinklage was coming off another fantasy role. In 2008, Prince Caspian, Disney's modestly performing sequel to The Lion Witch and the Wardrobe. Okay. I kind of forgot about that series, actually. I remember watching the first one and was looking for something different. Tink was also wary of the genres. Words can't.
Genre.
Yes, genre. We're just spelled weird sometimes. Stereotypically used of little people. He once cited the Lord of the Rings infamous dwarf tossing joke as particularly galling, and would later use his first Golden Globes acceptance speech in 2012 to draw attention to a real-world life dwarf tossing victim. Jesus Christ, I'm a broken record.
And you spin me right round, baby, right round. What you saw is coming.
Well,
yeah. If it works better if other people can read and you can just give commentary, or if that works better.
I also just kind of woke up and I'm drinking a Monster right now.
Okay.
All right.
Neph, it's your turn. Neph, it's your turn.
George R.R. Martin, author and co-executive producer, said, "We thought right away that role would be the trickiest. We all agreed we wanted an actual dwarf to play Tyrion. We didn't want to do what Lord of the Rings did, where they take John Rhys Davies and shrink him down to play Gimli. If Peter had turned us down, we would have been screwed." Okay, that's a stupid thing to say. Well, it's a stupid thing to turn away tall people unless the costume needs a certain height.
I think a big part of it was like they would have had to use trickier forced perspective stuff, as opposed to just like having the person in camera. There's also
Yeah,
the element of proportions on a dwarf are different than of like an actual dwarf as opposed dwarf person, as opposed to a person who is shrunk down, who is used as forced perspective, who they're using to shrink down using forced perspective. And with
Oh
forced
yeah, like thinking the first Lord of the Rings movie comes to mind. The production of that one, the Gandalf scene with Frodo on the table. That's actually one of the scenes I remember is using forced perspective.
Mhm. And pretty much, and they did use short people, but it was like for wide shots. The thing with Game of Thrones is that you want them to be in camera together talking to each other, and you can't really do much in the way of like cutting down to look at the person. It's better if it's like a slightly wider shot, like when Jaime is talking to Tyrion in season 8. It works a lot better because you see them side by side and you see the height difference.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big part of why they needed an actual dwarf. You could also have gotten a different dwarf actor. One of the problems with forced perspective, like with Gimli, like John Rhys Davis is huge. Like he's like 6'2" or something. He's a big
Wow.
guy.
Oh, he's like my height.
Jesus,
Yeah.
I watch him.
At least I think John Rhys Davies. Like he's a relatively tall guy. He was taller than he's 6'1". Yeah, I was correct.
Oh, he's
Wow.
not tall as me then.
Yeah, so he's actually taller than Viggo Mortensen and Orlando Bloom. The way they got it to work was they hired really tall stunt extras and had him stand next to them. And if there were kind of wide shots, they would get a small actor to go along with Viggo Mortensen and Orlando Bloom. So they would make them look taller. There was a lot of in-camera trickery.
Interesting.
Yeah. The making of Lord of the Rings is fascinating, where they kind of just like explain, like, because they had big actors for all of the like tall people that the actors playing hobbits could play off of. And then and that's kind of why you rarely see them in face. So yeah. It's a magic trick.
Okay. Isn't saying we're screwed without Peter really showing your hand that you're kind of incompetent and lacking creativity? Yeah.
Yeah,
They
probably.
could have done what they did with Lord of the Rings. They could have.
It would have been very difficult to sell it because they would have had to effectively double their stunt team, their crew team.
And as a TV show, you don't get the budget like a movie does.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Because you need and also you're limited in terms of you need somebody who is really, really, really tall, and then you need somebody who's really short. So you need 3 per person usually.
Okay.
So you couldn't do like what Lord of the Rings did, because you would have drained your budget fast. Yeah, so you need to work on a smaller budget, which, granted, the $20 million spent on the pilot of all things is startling, but it does extremely startling.
I think that when you decide like you're playing a dwarf, you're limited in terms of you need an actual dwarf actor, and there aren't that many like well-known good dwarf actors. Peter Dinklage is pretty much the main one.
Most recognized.
Yeah, the only one that's relatively close is Warwick Davis. Warwick Davis and Peter Dinklage are kind of neck and neck. With a few people I know the joke. But the only other actor is the guy who is in Joker. he's an up and comer as opposed to the much more well-known actors, his much more well-known peers. So it saves a lot of in-camera effects and time and effort to cast an actual dwarf actor, but it does mean you are limited in terms of your casting. So give and take either way.
Peter Dinklage.
Just
Tyrion-
thinking about talking about Peter Dinklage and stuff really hurts me inside, because now I keep remembering all those chapters from like when they were on the boat with young Griff, and now we never gotten any of that. What a waste!
Yeah, let's just keep going. We'll keep talking about that as the show as the books go on.
Peter Dinklage. Tyrion Lannister. I wouldn't go anywhere near that stuff. Fantasy. As soon as I heard about Thrones, I was like, no. In fantasy, everyone speaks in broad strokes. There's no intimacy. There's dragons and big speeches, and there's nothing to hold on to. And for somebody my size, it's effing death. The opposite of the activism I was involved with. But Dinklage knew and respected showrunner David Bennioff's writing, and it didn't hurt that the actor was friends with Bennioff's wife, actress Amanda Peet. So when Dinklage read the Thrones pilot script, he had to change of heart. No, I think the casting couch had something to do with this.
It's a reverse casting couch situation.
Yes. David and Dan are incapable of doing fantasy tropes. They're too good.
Please.
I told them that I love turning people's expectations on their heads.
Screw
You
Keystone
overcome
Army.
stereotypes when people least expect it. You do it quietly. You don't do it through a bullhorn. And I felt like that's what they were doing with Tyrion. In another show, it would be focused on the people on the throne looking down on me. Okay, that's a lie.
Oh,
They're
gosh.
incapable.
They did a lot of fantasy tropes, especially in like season 6 and 7.
And 8.
8, I don't think did fantasy tropes as much. The only trope that I can think of that they did was the kill one guy and all the other ones fall down.
I hate that fucking trope, that Phantom Menace crap.
Dinklage had at least one rule: no beard, which is why Tyrion is clean-shaven during the show's first few years, despite the character having a beard in the books. The actor later eased off that requirement and grew a modest beard after his character was firmly established. I just didn't want a long beard in a dwarf in the Lord of the Rings way, he explained. Yeah, that. How long is the beard in the books done?
He actually isn't often depicted as having a beard. Let me see.
I ask because,
honestly, it's kind of just an aesthetic thing, so I don't think it matters that much. Like, he does grow a beard toward the end. Let me see,
I'm asking how he's depicted in the books, not in the series.
Originally. He's definitely uglier in the books. Like, he's described as ugly.
Kill with fire.
Like, especially when he loses his nose.
Yikes. So, long beard or short beard?
Black and blonde hair. It actually doesn't say that he has a beard on the Wikia. If it does, it's very sparse.
Okay,
I don't think it's not a big part of his character that he has a beard. So what he's described as a dwarf with stubby legs, a jutting forehead, mismatched eyes of green and black, mixture of pale blonde and black hair. His unique stare has said to make most people uncomfortable, which he uses to his advantage. That's kind of the main thing.
Okay, then.
And so it's like either a sparse beard or it's not that big, and he actually just grows a beard like later. It's not a big deal.
Okay. The actor also urged his longtime friend Lena Headey, Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, to try out for the role of Tyrion's ambitious and cunning sister Cersei. We met lots of others too, but it was clear she was the most interesting and best choice, said Lena Gold, who served as Throne's casting director, along with her partner Robert Stern. While the producers were looking to stand apart from The Lord of the Rings, they nonetheless cast Sean Bean in the role of the Honorable Stark Patriarch, Eddard, aka Ned. Bean had played another ill-fated fantasy warrior from a noble family, Boromir, in the Fellowship.
It's like it couldn't be any more cut
Boromir.
than that.
This
Sorry.
is also cementing the fact that every character Sean Bean plays almost always dies.
Sean Bean was somebody we talked about from the very beginning. He seemed like the prototype of the guy, said Gould. Dinklage would be the show's only American actor for most of the series. Gould and Stern searched for the rest of the roles out of London. Westeros was based on what's now known as the UK, and there was a long tradition of historical style dramas using actors with British accents. It's called accent.
Yeah, that's not all. Yeah, about that Westeros part, you'd be surprised. People point out that Westeros is like Westeros itself. It's a mirrored, like they literally just mirror it, including like that little shutting out part, but extended it out and extended the Scottish part outwards.
Yeah, and also it's based off of fantasy England, in a lot of ways.
Bennioff, Weiss, and Martin were heavily involved in the selection process, as was the director of the series' original pilot, Tom Carthy, who was brought on board having previously directed Dinklage in The Station Agent, as well as acted with Pete in the film 2012. Okay, you do not have to get British actors for their accents. People can be taught how to do that.
It does save money, and it like accents. Like if you've seen like Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch is having to expend a lot of acting energy toward his accent in that movie.
Oh no, I know it takes. I know that, but
I think why
can't they just get actors who've already played as British people instead of just going? I mean, if they already know how to do it,
I mean, Jack Gleason is
then
Irish.
what's the point in excluding them?
I think part of the issue is they were limited on their budget was a big problem. That they had.
All right.
I think Jackie Gleason was Irish.
So, I think that they just and I think they wanted to feel like pretty authentic and kind of like not necessarily use American actors, and especially since British actors actually are cheaper than American actors, and there's probably a lot of American actors who would say like we're not really interested in this, at least initially, and generally I'd say that British actors are like better trained than actors over here because they are like usually go into plays and theater relating to Shakespeare and other really tough things relating to that, as opposed to us, which is mostly Broadway or talent scouts. That's the main thing that that's kind of the difference between British British stage and American stage.
Okay.
There's less bad British actors than there are bad American actors. We'll say that
That's
much.
saying a lot.
All right. Would you like me to continue or?
Yep. Yeah, keep
Okay.
going. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, keep going.
George R.R. Martin. I was a big part of casting in the early seasons. They would send me a link every day with like 23 different people who read for various roles. I would watch every one of.
Let's see.
Of
Of
them. I would write David and Dan these really detailed 6-page evaluations. Yeah, no, they're not going to read those. Also weighing in on casting unofficially were Martin's readers. A Song of Ice and Fire fans lobbied online for certain actors to be considered for key roles, sometimes quite successfully. The fans were also quick to make their disapproval known when a casting choice fell short of their expectations for a character, such as when Danish film star
Nikolai
Castor-Waldau landed the role of Cersei's legendarily handsome and arrogant knight brother, Jaime Lannister.
Really?
Huh, interesting. Because a lot of people loved him. That's interesting.
Maybe that was just like the casted thing, kind of like the Joker from The Dark Knight. The people didn't like him at first. Thought the casting wasn't great until they saw how it actually played out.
Let's keep going, shall we?
Okay. Do you want me to continue, or is it someone else's turn?
Oh, yeah, I think it's my turn. Nikolai Castor-Waldau, Jaime Lannister. I had a meeting with Dan and David and Carolyn Strauss, and they told me the whole story, and it sounded amazing. Then about a half hour into the conversation, they said, oh, yeah, he has a special relationship with his sister. They're lovers.
Ugh.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Then there was some discussion among fans about my nose, that I had the wrong nose.
That's nitpicky. You can easily fix that in post.
Damn it! It's all gone. It's all gone to shit because of a nose. Fuck.
Yeah. David Bennioff. We learned to cast the actor who is best for the role, not whose face matches who's in the books. That means we got certain complaints from the fan community. People complained Peter was too tall, or that Nikolai's nose is too big. The young Greyjoy actor Alfie Allen didn't look anything like the character from the book, but his audition blew everyone else out of the water. And I would agree. Alfie Allen is one of the best actors on the show. Like, he did a really good job.
Too bad he didn't go out that great. I mean, he didn't get a real conclusion with his family.
Yeah. Allen didn't originally think he would make a great Theon either. Then the British actor first tried out to play Jon Snow, but the producers were inspired to ask him to come back and read for the role of the traitorous Stark Ward. That wasn't unusual, as many Thrones actors tried out for multiple parts on the show. Yet Martin's fans scored a bullseye by suggesting Jason Momoa, an American actor best known for Stargate Atlantis, for the role of the fearsome Dothraki warrior called Drogo. Momoa arrived at his audition wearing an open black chest-bearing shirt and a tribal-looking necklace. Given Drogo's lack of dialogue, Momoa asked the producers if he could perform a Maori warrior haka dance to visually demonstrate some of his physical menace before reading his lines. The actor ferociously stamped, chanted, and pounded his chest while giving a threatening Drogo-like glare. That's actually kind of awesome. Like, I love
we need more stories like this. Come on, people.
Yeah, we need more like Momoa, please.
We need this. We need this film. If this was filmed, we need this.
Yeah.
It probably is somewhere.
And we must find it.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
I want to see that tape. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It is. I can only imagine because Jason Momoa is hilarious. Like one time, like after he got finished on the show after season 1, he came up to Game of Thrones Comic Con and just gave Amelia Clark a big smackaroo on the cheek. Yeah.
Hello there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did I miss? I was gone for a bit.
Basically, the story of Jason Momoa's audition tape.
How'd it go?
I want to see it so much.
Yeah, he
Ugh, an open black chest bearing shirt and a tribal-looking necklace.
Performing a Maori warrior
Maori.
haka dance.
yeah. Yeah.
Demonstrates of his physical
And
madness.
Yeah, and I bet he pulled it off too.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at just Momoa, I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a,
Nope. A lot of Game of Thrones probably gained a lot of Momoa fans who just watched the episodes with him in it just for him.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But the video where Moa cusses out when he sees the episode 6 of season 8.
I think it's episode 5, but either way, he still like said, fuck you.
Yeah, I think that was when Jon stabs Daenerys.
Yeah.
yeah.
He went on
Oh.
a fucking tirade, like holy shit.
Jason Momoa. I was born to play this role. When I read they were casting Khal Drogo, I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to have that role. I've never gone out for something before where I was like, no one is going to take this from me. I was pretty adamant about it. I remember giving it my all and leaving going, good luck finding someone who's going to play Drogo.
That damn straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty much the only guy who could possibly play Khal Drogo.
Just like freaking Charles Dance is the only one who can ever play fucking Tywin Lannister. Oh, but maybe
It's a fact.
maybe except for what was his name? Fucking
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee, yes.
But by this point, he was. Oh, actually, yeah, I think I probably like what. Yeah, he would have made it into Tywin's arc.
Not at the
completely.
point. Not at the point of life where he was at. He was 90 in 2012. I don't think he could. Like, he could have played Tywin Lannister in his youth, but not at the time the show was filming.
Yeah, he was nearly dead since he died in 2015.
Yeah, he would have. He would have been great in his youth, but during the time the show was filming, like, he would have looked like Lena Headey's and Peter Dinklage's grandpa rather than their dad.
Yeah.
God, that guy can make anything sound epic. Like a freaking
But,
grocery
you know,
list or something.
back then, there were really, really big age gaps between parents. So it might have been able to work.
Not 50 years.
That's true.
Yeah, like Chris, like
Father, how does I concede? All you see, it was the use of a potion, and drink.
yeah, I love Christopher Lee, but he he would have looked like he's like Charles Dance is
He would
about.
have made Walter Frey look young by comparison.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Filch from Harry Potter is actually in this show, and he
Yeah.
plays this pervy, disgusting old man, and it's actually really funny to watch. But
I joked once that Walter Frey is so old he was there to see the rise of the heiress to Conqueror.
Aegon the Conqueror, you mean?
Yeah, Aegon the Conqueror.
Yeah. Almost. He saw like 5 Targaryen kings. Think so. Alrighty. Let's keep going. Northern Ireland and television and film theater veteran Conleth Hill tried out to play the bald eunuch royal advisor Varys, despite some initial reluctance. You can keep going, Wolf.
I resisted for so long. I remember telling my agent I wasn't interested. I thought it'd be like Dungeons and Dragons. But Build 5 was only an hour away, and I loved Tom McCarthy's home movies, so I figured I'd go meet them. I stopped thinking Robert, but when I came out, taped. When I came out, I saw him like, oh my god,
Oh no!
Wakashinda!
What? Oh,
White died.
oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, hopefully I'll be able to come back.
I saw Mark Addy was up for that part as well. He was perfect, so I thought that was no go. Dude said, we'll come back to you. I thought it was some bullshit. Oh, it's bullshit. Bullshit. Then they had me back in again doing Varys' big speech when he talks about his past. I was thinking, what a journey for this character. They asked, do you mind getting your head shaved? I never shaved my head before. I first was very depressed. I was very depressed.
No, you don't need to shave a person's head
Uh,
to get.
yeah, well, you don't need to shave it, but it looks better than if you have a bald cap. And like he actually his head actually suits suits baldness, so he actually looks better bald.
At least he has something to look forward to when he finally reaches that point where his hair starts falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now he knows that he looks good without hair.
Yeah.
For Scottish actor Rory McCone, and landing the role of Prince Joffrey Baratheon's fearsome bodyguards and or the Hound Clegane wasn't just another. I knew I said Clegane. What the hell's wrong with me? It wasn't just another acting gig, but about actual survival. The actor told The Independent in 2019 that before being cast on Thrones, he was homeless, sleeping in a tent, and stealing food.
Wow.
Oh, I doubt it. I really doubt it.
I mean, he was in Hot Fuzz he was in Hot Fuzz a couple of years ago, wasn't he?
When Hot Fuzz came out in
2007.
Well, okay, so this is the year before. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. But he was an extra. Let me see. Rory.
He was Michael. Oh, the only amount of words he said here was "yarp" or "narp."
Rory McCann. He's okay. So most of what he'd kind of been in very, very little before Game of Thrones. I think maybe he just hit a dry spell or something because he wasn't able to get much.
David Bennioff. We had trouble finding someone for the Hound. That's a tricky role. It's got to be someone who's genuinely intimidating, but who you believe also believes a soul. Nina and her team would put all these videos online. There were hundreds of Hound interviews. Then we got an email from George saying, "Have you looked at Rory McCann?" We clicked on that one. It's when he's yelling at Sansa, he goes, "Look at me!" The way he snarled.
Okay. That's. Oh my god. These people, they. Oh my god. You learn how to be intimidating in actor school. You learn how to be all these different things. You don't need. You just need someone who's good at being intimidating. You don't need someone who. What you need is someone who, when they want to, can walk into a room and command every other person inside it. You don't need someone who's naturally like that. Because otherwise, what's the point in getting an actor?
I think, they were kind of limited also because the Hound is a big dude.
That's true.
They did get 3 different actors for the Mountain.
Yeah, so they got a few different actors, but Rory McCann is a huge dude. He's really tall. He's 6'6".
If you watch Hot Fuzz, he's fucking huge in Hot Fuzz. Because even the camera angles it perfectly that you can just see how tall he fucking is. It's Jesus. So it's just generally tall people. When you see someone that's tall and muscly, you're kind of intimidated.
Yeah, And I think that a big part of it was also like because like as the Hound, Rory McCann kind of like is able to kind of turn on the like the strong silent type where he kind of like you can see like he's a cold-hearted scumbag, but there's kind of a depth to him, I think, which is cool.
Yeah. Right now it's
My point still stands, though.
Yeah,
That makes
it is very hard to cast though. It would be hard to cast because honestly, most actors are short. Like Tom Cruise, he's like
5'7".
yeah, he's 5'7". He's not a tall dude. Like the average height of an actor is like 5'10" ish.
That's
Like,
tall.
well, I guess. Well, maybe like 5'7", 5'8" ish. Not super tall. Like Rory McCann is well above average in terms of height. For Hollywood. That's
All right.
kind of it. They want.
And they couldn't have gotten Gimli to do that?
Well, John Rhys Davis was not of the right age. He'd also kind of gotten a little bit portly since then. Also, it's like the Hound is slightly younger. He's about like mid-30s. So, as opposed to John Rhys Davies, who's like late 50s by that point, I believe.
And you can't use makeup to fix that? Why?
Partially because the Hound is a more physical role, and Rory is able to do a lot of his own stunts.
And if you don't use the right makeup, it'll all come off when you sweat. Okay.
Yeah, the Hound is already a person that requires thick makeup because you have to put on like a burn onto his face. So kind of making him look younger on top of that would have been a really hard ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Northern Ireland actor. Let's see. That's the one actor.
Karma may has both lean back. Rory's a very sweet, gentle person, but he definitely has that anger within him. Northern Ireland actor Christian Nyan was tight for the role of hulking it, sweet mono-word uttering House Stark servant Hodor. But I was in the middle of my day, and I got a phone call from a guy who had acted as my agent, saying, "We have an audition for you. You need to find a child." I obviously didn't have one with me, but he told me about birthday boy would one with me.
No. Why? That's not good.
What do you mean? Like,
go to a birthday party and find a child.
That sounds like kidnapping to me. I'm sorry.
that sounds weird, I guess. But maybe like they kind of like he just said, "Hey, like I'm an entertainer. I offer piggybacks, I guess." Then we got this tape of Christian Narn, and he's in his backyard staggering around with a kid on his back shouting Hodor.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Hodor.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Some of these names are so weird.
Yeah, Sybil Kekele is the name of the name of the next actress.
Okay.
German actress Sybil Kekele.
Kekele. Or
Kekele.
Kekele. Okay.
Alright. You have a paid out of pocket to fly to London for the opportunity to audition for Tyrion's prostitute lover, Shane. Wiley lover, Shay in person. After the meeting, however, Kekele changed her mind about the role. Script pages also fun fact, I'm pretty sure that she was a former porn star.
You are correct on that, Martin.
Yeah.
I imagine she's actually like a pretty good actress, but yeah, they probably cast a lot of porn actresses in order to, well, just because of the nudity and just like being comfortable there.
Yeah, I do know for a fact that Sybil, she was a former adult entertainer.
Yeah.
The script made Seat read during the scene where originally close to the books portrayal of Shay as a heartless opportunist, and she felt uncomfortable playing such a character opted Dinklage.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh
We
my
reconceived
god,
the role
that
to make it worthy of the actor's talents. Oh, my gosh. Wow. It's the pattern. The pattern is there. It is so blatant. It is so blatant.
oh hey,
fucking
he's
hell.
back.
This fucking
Good.
blue screen, my computer just fucking crashed for
Okay.
some reason.
Oh no.
Sabelka Kelly, she was a former adult star.
The lady who played Shay.
Fucking D&D knew why I was here.
Yeah.
Oh, please. They can't roll. Oh, please. Just roll a natural 20 and you kill them both in one
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, Neph's turn. Neph's turn now.
Okay. Sybil Keckley?
Keckley. Yeah.
Keckley. Okay. When I got the part, my first reaction was I didn't want to do it. I said, no, thank you. I know Peter Dinklage was a great actor, but I was thinking, based on the audition lines, that they wanted to make fun of little people, make fun of the situation. David and Dan sent me a beautiful letter saying, please, 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 you are our Shay. You did a great audition. We're going to change Shay a bit. We'll do it different than the books. And they convinced me. Oh, rewriting the characters. No.
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 Wow.
Rewriting the characters for the fucking... I forgot the fucking thing they keep saying all the time.
We reconceived the role to make it worthy of the actor's talents.
Mr. Demands will be quite proud right now.
I watch his content frequently, and it's just like it fits with.
It's great. Scottish actor Ian Glenn already had some Hollywood genre movie experience thanks to major roles in films such as Resident Evil, Apocalypse, and Lara Croft Tomb Raider when he tried out for the banished Westerosi knight Sir Jorah.
Mormont.
Is it Jorah?
Yeah, Jorah Mormont.
Jorah Mormont. Ian Glenn. No one knew anything really about it except that it was HBO and so many British actors were going out for it. I met with them, felt pretty good about it. Then it all went silent. I said to my wife, and I never usually say this, I really, really want that job. She asked why. Honestly, I don't know. I said, because I know nothing about it. I just got a funny feeling. For the pivotal role of the exiled princess Daenerys Targaryen, the producers originally cast English actress Tamsin Merchant, who was coming off Showtime's period drama The Tudors.
Tutors.
Well,
Two Doors.
Tudors.
I know. Okay?
Yeah.
I know. Daenerys was one of several younger characters that had been slightly reconceived to fit the chosen actor. No!
Not that
again. George R. R. Martin. I based the books on the Middle Ages when girls were getting married at 13. The entire concept of adolescence didn't exist. You were either a child or an adult. So Dany is 13 years old in the books, but it was against British law to cast anyone in a sexual situation who was under 17. You can't even cast a 17-year-old to play a 13-year-old. If it's a sexual situation. So we wound up with a 23-year-old playing a 17-year-old and had to adjust the timeline. Okay, that makes sense. There's a perfectly
it's a legal
reason and legal reason to rewrite the character a little bit, but
and
not
also,
for the other people.
Yeah, a big thing is like they had to just based on the laws in place, they had to just thankfully it's just the timeline. That's it. There's nothing else.
For bullying teenage Prince Joffrey, producers auditioned many young actors who read their lines as an obvious demon seed and omen-like child villain. We were auditioning for Joffrey, and we found a kid we thought was perfect, so we thought we were done with the role. Then we went to Dublin to cast for other characters, and there was one kid who'd been scheduled to read for Joffrey, and we didn't want to cancel on him. So basically, just as a courtesy, we agreed to see Jack Gleason. He started speaking and changed our concept of the character. Oh no.
Admittedly,
We didn't expect to spend as much time with Joffrey until we cast Jack. There's something so loathsome yet so believable about the performance. He's not supernatural. He's not the servant of darkness. He's just a believably awful human being.
Oh shit.
No. If you're supposed to be looking for an omen-like demon villain who is a demon seed, then that's what you should be looking for. Not
I don't think they were actually necessarily doing that. I think it was just the kids read it like that. But that is actually the case in the books. Joffrey is not an Omen style kid. He's just a petty brat. So I think that they did a good. I think that they actually did perfectly with Jack Gleason. They actually perfectly adapted Joffrey.
okay.
He's still a horrible, like Joffrey's still a horrible human being.
And I think that it was just I think that part of it was just they are not good at the casting process, and they're not able to coach people very well.
No.
I think that's part of
Okay.
it. It's just that Jack Gleason, when he read the part, he got the character very easily and was able to perform said character.
Oh. Okay. 17-year-old Gleason's most notable prior credit was a small part in Batman Begins. The young Irish actor said he had looked to other big
Screen
villains for inspiration.
Good meme though.
I think it's your turn.
Yeah. Wolf. It's Wolf.
No, you haven't read yet.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jack Gleason. My characterization came from those first sides I got, and a collection of evil characters I've seen over the years. Joaquin Phoenix's Commodus in Gladiator had a big impact. The Smirk. Also, the monster Hexus from Fern Gully. Wow.
Wow.
That's impressive. That's interesting. I never would have pictured that. Good on you, Jack. Those are the two biggest. He's a product of his setting and context. Everyone has met Joffrey in some shape or form.
Yeah, everyone has.
Yeah. Joffrey is basically it's kind of actually worse that he's, as opposed to this creepy little Omen style kid, he's a petty tantrum throwing sociopath who just kind of just wants to hurt people.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah. The toughest role to fill on Thrones was Arya Stark, the crafty, strong-willed young heroine who defies gender stereotypes and endures monumental hardship throughout the series. George R. R. Martin. I despaired for a while that we couldn't find an Arya. We read more girls for Arya than anyone else. Most child actors in sitcoms, they just have to be cute and snap off one-liners. This part deals with real violence and grief and fear. Yeah, Arya kills a dude in episode 8, and she's like 9. Yeah, you couldn't really do that with most. I applaud Maisie Williams for what she was able to do with this. 3/4 of the girls we saw were just reciting lines. There was nothing else going on there. It's a big thing for a 10-year-old to recite these lines, but there was no acting. The rest were kids who had gone to acting classes, and some coach had told them they had to emote, and they were emoting all over the place. They were all grimacing and rolling their eyes. I'm looking at this and saying, we're doomed. Then 12-year-old actress English actress Maisie Williams in her second audition for a role ever. It's loading. Recording a tape playing Arya during her lunch break at school. George R. R. Martin. Holy hell, her facial features weren't at all what I had described in the books, but she was perfect. She was Arya. She was alive. For Arya's prim, idealistic sister, Sansa Stark, 13-year-old Sophie Turner was urged by her drama teacher to try out for the role. She later said that the tape just seemed like a fun, jokey thing to do. She didn't even tell her parents about the role until she made it to the final 7. Nina Gold, the casting director. Sophie likes to say that we found her in a field somewhere in Warwickshire, which isn't quite true, but it's almost true. Robert Stern, casting director. We went to her school, and she was clearly from the start had some connection with the material. Williams and Turner met for the first time at one of their auditions and were partnered together for a chemistry read. Maisie Williams. I came out of it thinking, even if I don't get the part for Arya, I want Sophie to get the part of Sansa. David Bennioff. Maisie and Sophie liked each other right away. There was a real chemistry, even though the characters weren't supposed to like each other at that point. From then on, they would be like giggling and laughing together, and the second you say action, they were at each other's throats in a completely believable way. Being friends makes it easier for actors to play hostility between them. It was the same for Peter and Lena.
That was great.
Yeah, so far we're seeing some good stuff. I think the problem is going to get into, like, I think the, like, part of it is just the problem that go into production. Like, they admit, like, we literally did not know what the casting process was like. I think that might have been one of the things, like, where they were initially casting, like, Omen kids that read, like, The Omen. I think that's partially because they just didn't understand the casting process, and because they've admitted, and I played the clip earlier, we literally went into it not knowing anything about the casting process, the editing process, anything else. They just knew roughly how to write.
We're almost there at the point where it starts to get fun, so buckle up.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on to your
Let's get
seats.
Here we go.
Hold on to your butts.
Nina Gold. For the first read-through, they just became inseparable. Williams and Turner would later get matching tattoos to this date, 07, 08, 09, commemorating their casting. Sophie Turner. That date always meant a lot to us. And we always said we were going to get it done. We've been filming season 7 for a week, and we were laughing the best time. We were just like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Oh, good grief.
Oh, geez, we jumped all the way to season 7, didn't we?
Yeah, let's keep going.
English actor Isaac Hempstead Wright had no interest in performing till he joined a drama club at school. He was just 10 when he was cast as Bran Stark, the boy who winds up disabled yet with a mystical destiny. Isaac Hempstead Wright, Bran Stark. I had 3 auditions and then just forgot about it over the summer. I was running around playing football or whatever. Then one day I came out from school and got in my mum's car and she said, "Congratulations, Bran Stark. Oh, cool." Scottish actor Richard Madden was 22 when he was chosen for the eldest Stark, his son. On Robb, he shifted his accent to closer match Bean's Yorkshire dialect. Like Joffrey, Robb is a character that the showrunners expanded from the books due to the strength of their...
No!
No!
No, god damn it.
Oh my god.
The actors' faces, these performances, why must we suffer through that shit?
There is only one character that they could get away with doing that for.
This book was an inside job, I tell you.
Hold on, is this book supposed to defend D&D because it's outing them as the Neph people?
Also, Gray Fox.
Yeah.
Also, Gray Fox. Nice. Also, Gray Fox. I really like your profile picture. That's a cool Gray Fox picture.
Yeah. I just, it's a sickeningly consistent pattern of behavior with these guys.
Yeah, it's like there was only one person you needed to do that with, and that was a 13-year-old that was going to be going through sexual situations.
Yeah. It's like, this is like, but yeah.
Nobody else you had to do that with.
I think the one part of it, like, Robb Stark is actually, like, off page for a majority of Clash of Kings, the second book, and they like put a lot of his book stuff ostensibly on screen, but they wanted to give him a romance story so that what would happen at the end of season 3 would hurt more. But yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the weird things, because I actually watched the show first, and when I read the books, I'm like, Robb Stark really isn't here that much. As a comparison to the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
I
up
don't
the
think they
character
should
in the
have
show.
done that.
I actually think that, well, even George R. R. Martin says that he like did a like was like actually fine with that change. And that it was like, I think that part of it is just like, if they don't do it, they're going to have, it's like if somebody's off screen for most of season 2 and is going to die at the end of season 3, it's going to be less impactful.
Hmm.
So I think that it was a good idea, but the problem was they didn't carry through and do a lot of the things relating to afterward. Like they cut out like his mom rising from the dead as a zombie because they didn't want to do the magic stuff.
Oh.
But that's stupid.
Exactly.
That was like one of the good parts of the book.
For a Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, they could have basically, like, she dies and then she dies in book 3, comes back at the end of book at least like is ostensibly resurrected at the end of book 3, but the issue is they didn't do it. They just basically gave her revenge story with the phrase to Arya.
No, that's stupid.
I would agree. I would agree that Robb Stark was one of the few elements of the show that was done better. I would very much agree with that, because I think otherwise they would have had the trouble of because like he had been a relatively prominent part of season 1, and then just to have him go off screen for probably like what's probably the equivalent of like 8 episodes. You both have there's pros and cons. In the book, you can do that where like Catelyn is constantly thinking about her son and getting reports, and then there's the surprise at the beginning of book 3 where it's like, wait, what? You married this girl even though you're in a marriage alliance to somebody else? Are you stupid? And it kind of explains it, and it's like it's very different. It's basically like she comforted him, and because he wasn't a virgin anymore, he felt like he had to marry her in order to preserve her honor, even though like it lost him the war. And it was basically made to show off Richard Madden, which kind of makes me irritated, like a lot. But the Red Wedding would have been less impactful on TV if he hadn't been on screen for season 2. But unfortunately, they decided to change his book plot, which is also very annoying. But
there was no need to do that.
Yeah, they could. I think that part of it was like they just didn't want to do this story from the book because they thought it would be too complicated. That kind of they thought they would kind of do a contrast of the cost of love as opposed to the cost of honor. But the thing is with Robb, he's falling into the same traps that his dad did, and it's sad because it's kind of his dad's political ineptitude hurting his son because his son just made a dumb choice for the sake of honor. But yeah.
Damn, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, like freaking the only thing that at those 3 was like the only thing they wanted to do was all the way up to the Red Wedding.
Pretty much, yeah.
The rest of it is just sloppily threw it together, just called it a day.
And yet another reason why Bennioff and Weiss should not have been hired for this.
Yeah, I honestly hope that they never were. I'm kind of excited for the terrible mess that they're going to do with 3 Body Problem.
Oh, I don't want to be reminded of that.
Don't forget, Ryan Johnson is going to be in the middle of that too.
Oh, my
Right.
brain. Gosh, that broke my brain for like weeks when I heard that.
Yeah, it's like the trifecta of crap. Ryan and Dumb and Dumber. The round-headed Dumb and Dumber.
I was
So
messaging
great.
fucking Noms about that. I'm like, oh, my brain, I can't handle it. I can't process this information, this absolute mental retardation that's fucking happening. Oh, please.
It's
Yeah.
gonna
Tell me.
be horrid.
So, does
Yeah.
anybody have any obsidian or Valyrian steel anywhere? I need to end this now.
I've got 5 swords. I've got ice, Longclaw, Narsil. That'll do the job.
Narcel is a Valyrian steel sword now.
But wait, why do all that? We could just build 3 ballistas and just triple shot your ass out the sky.
But I'm already dead, so it doesn't work that way. They have to be tipped with obsidian or something.
Well, I've got Longclaw, I've got Oathkeeper, and I've got ice. Those are
Ice. I like great swords.
Yeah.
I think I've got Elucidator somewhere.
Yeah. Let's keep going. At first we just liked Richard because he was odds-on favorite for 2009's Best Dressed Man in Scotland award.
Oh, good lord!
Wait, I missed that. Where's that part?
Where is
Oh
it?
my god.
For your the
it's-
Best Dressed Man in Scotland award.
The
Why said in the book inside HBO.
character.
I
First, we liked Richard.
am
Oh,
so
good lord!
that is
Why?
so funny. That is so funny. Like, that is hilarious to me. Oh my gosh. Weiss said in the book Inside Game of Thrones, seasons 1 and 2, he did indeed win, and in addition to his clothes, we got an amazing talent. Oh my god.
But Richard Bennett would later till Jimmy came alive that he was so desperate at the time he was cast. The role stand of having to move back in with his parents. Perhaps he spent too much on clothes.
Good lord!
English actor Kit Harington was also only 22 without any screen credits when he auditioned for the role of Stark Bastard Jon Snow, but was already acclaimed in the London action community for his starring role in a West End production of War Horse. Kit Harington, Jon Snow, even young male actors in the UK went in for the role. I sucked myself up massively after thinking, this is the one I might be right for. They are perceptive to the energy in the room. David and Dan could sing in a room all day looking for a person they liked, and you could feel them. Leads forward. What? That's the good idea. What?
So, oh, you're roboting there.
And if I lost, I would be upset.
Neph, you're roboting really bad.
What?
You're
Oh
doing
no!
go robot.
Oh, she's a fucking CIS robot. Confederacy is here. I knew it.
Don't you dare talk about my Neph.
I have
don't think we'll have any
9.
problems.
I have 9 swords. I have 9
It's just
total.
that
Oh, please tell us about your swords.
Anything to get away from this?
But this is better than Bellin.
Yeah, Bellin is terrible. Bellin is so bad.
Yeah.
So, chat, would you like us to continue reading this or continue with Bellin? I imagine you want this as opposed to Bellin, which I'm okay with because this,
I don't know,
this book is fairly recent.
oh my god, everyone's saying nepotisms.
I'm
Nepotisms?
not having any problems though.
But you
it's
were
much
having some
earlier.
nepotisms earlier.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I just have 5 good quality swords. The rest of them are kind of cheap.
I need to get some better swords.
but yeah, chat.
Yeah.
Do you want
What kind of
defense of
sword?
80? Do you
I
want
need to
80
get a Zweihander, two-hander,
a great
I-
swords?
Max McMillian. I forget what it's called.
I will post a picture of my sword collection in the Discord once this is finished.
And then also, or do you want black squire?
It's weird. Read this.
It's like,
yeah.
I just
Okay.
kind of remember. It's kind of just I remember it's kind of just like it was like when we were watching School of Movies. It was like, can we please just go back to framing monsters? This is terrible.
And then when we go back to framing monsters, they say go back to
Fire cannot
School
kill a
of
dragon.
Movies.
I don't think anybody said, "Can we go back to School of Movies?" quite yet. I don't think it's gotten that bad.
Okay.
No, it's your
Listen,
turn.
everything may be bad, but guess what?
Quiet, please. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Bella is eternal.
To help sort through the audition tapes, the producers enlisted the help of Brian Cogman, a screenwriter and a Juilliard-trained actor whose wife worked as a nanny for Bennioff and Pete. Ooh.
The fuck?
I smell nepotism abound.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, it gets worse.
Cogman devoured Martin's books and became an expert on A Song of Ice and Fire, its
Oh,
mythology.
dude, is he now? I'm sure he
Initially
is.
hired as Bennioff's assistant, Cogman would rise through different roles throughout the series as he wrote episodes, supervised on set, and became a co-executive producer. They gave me way too much responsibility early on, considering I had no experience, Cogman said. But you know what? They didn't either. I think they valued the fact that I was an actor and had some training. This is embarrassing. We were casting ladies for the character that became a Ross. At that point, the character was just redheaded and a whore.
Oh.
One day, David, Dan, and Tom McCarthy weren't available, and I was tasked with auditioning actors for this role. This Northern Irish actress comes in. I was terrified because it was this Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Randy scene, and what the F did I know? The sides were all these double entendres, and young lady did a nice job, but she kept looking at me funny, and I don't know why. Okay, she was trying to seduce you as part of her audition.
Wow, he was.
That's the only thing I can think of, because
she's playing the role.
Yeah.
You moron. You're supposed to be a Juilliard trained actor and you don't notice this? What is wrong with you?
She was trying to seduce you as part of the audition.
In fact, look, right down there.
Oh,
Idiot.
wow.
I'm going to skip
I
ahead.
said, okay, let's try one more, because I guess we should do more than one. She read it again, and I said, okay, that's great. And she stood there for a minute and said, well, I guess I'll go now. Next day, Nina Gold called me and goes, you didn't have her stripped to her underwear? She'd been waiting to be told to take off her clothes. I guess that's normal. Casting those roles, I felt immense guilt. Later, Esme Bianco came in and won the role.
Oof.
Nina Gold. We don't have actors take their clothes off in the audition, I have to say. Though some take them off of their own accord.
What?
Ugh.
Wow.
Oh,
How incompetent, Jesus Christ.
Wow, it's like there's two different things. It's like one is trying to like say, no, this is not how it works. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. This
and
is
it's
I can't
like
believe he did.
what the lady probably wanted to do was to show off what kind of striptease she could do.
I guess. But I guess it was a different one that ended up getting the role.
That poor lady.
Yeah.
Esme Bianco Ross. The redheaded whore was the character name then. And she was originally just going to be in the pilot. I auditioned in my underwear. They do that because some actresses will say they are okay with doing nudity in an audition, but then on the day of shooting will not be okay with it. At the time, I was doing burlesque shows and lingerie modeling, so this was like just another day in the office. When the show got greenlit, the producers reached out. Would you be interested in doing more scenes? It was George R.R. Martin who said, maybe you should give her a name instead of referring to her as the redheaded whore for the entire season.
Jesus Christ. Fuck.
English actor Joe Dempsey was
I want
coming
to
on.
pause. I want to pause on that one for a second because wow. You didn't think to give her a name until the author told you. The author had to tell you. You should probably give her a name.
I'm surprised her name didn't end up being Ro. Redheaded whore.
Her name's just fucking red. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
This
fucking
is-
calling her on the fucking loudspeaker to do her part?
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
Redheaded whore, come to the filming set. Redheaded whore. Oh god.
Yeah. Dang. Wow. It's just like, wow. You didn't think to name the character until another producer said you should probably name her, and they just.
Well, he made the character. He probably should have had
No.
a name in
No.
mind for her, no matter
No.
what. Even if.
No, she's a show original.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They actually cut out a lot of the horror characters from the books, and just kind of like merged a few together.
That's
but yeah,
so dumb.
I guess you can kind of say they merged fucking Jon Snow with F.A. Fagon.
yeah.
Okay.
So frustrating. Yeah, let's keep
English
going.
actor Joe
Great
Dempsey
Fox.
was coming off
Okay,
the
I'm sorry, Neph, but,
provocative
Neph.
UK show.
Yeah.
S-
I'm sorry, I have to point that out.
Yeah. Well, let's keep going.
Skins when he was cast as Robert Baratheon's abandoned bastard son, Gendry?
Yep.
Gentry Rose.
Mm-hmm. Gendry Rivers.
Gendry. Bleh. Okay. I auditioned for 2 or 3 parts before getting Gendry. I initially thought when I wasn't getting those parts that they thought I was terrible. In hindsight, they identified people they wanted to work with, and after that, they were figuring out what piece of the jigsaw you are. That we have a bunch of actors that get on so well and have such good work ethic and
What the
professionalism is not by chance. David and Dan created that atmosphere. Nobody is bigger than the show, so there was very little ego.
Pause. No.
No.
Pause that.
No.
No.
There was ego. Maybe it wasn't from the actors, but there was definitely ego.
Yeah. Like,
like Barristan guys, fucking the Barristan actor got kicked out of the show fucking because of Bennioff's ego.
Yeah. Okay, David Bennioff. We have a lot of friends who write on TV shows, and the problems we had to deal with over the years in terms of cast misbehavior was so minuscule compared to what most people deal with. I don't know if it's a UK thing or what, but we got so lucky given the size of the cast. It's incredible. We only had like 1 or 2 dicks in minor roles. Okay, I call BS.
I think that there is an element of truth to that, because it's either young actors who have not been in anything or professional British actors. However, the big problem with the very little ego is the fact that David Bennioff micromanage the show to no end. And specifically like marginalized like writers, kicked out people because like they didn't want to be at night shoots, where writers don't need to be at night shoots. They don't. They just write the stuff and like figure
They
out the
can
story.
have a normal 9 to 5 day.
Yeah.
I have a life outside of writing,
It's
you know.
the actors that need to go to night shoots.
Yeah, and Bennioff just admitted like we went to the night shoots because we didn't know any better.
Oh,
Because they're-
fucking hell. It really puts into context now. Jesus. Some of
Yeah.
the shit.
Yeah, like they
Nina-
like or when like there was like 55 night shoots in a row, and David and Dan would occasionally swan up, and the whole crew would be like glaring at them because they hated them.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
too. And look what they did to me. Fucking hell. Killed me off like 2 times.
Yeah.
1 second, I need to duck out for a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, what a
Okay.
massive.
I gotta
that
answer the
means
call of
let's,
nature.
Let's
I
entertain
gotta-
a chat.
Okay, that's fine.
Why even be alive? I mean, like, be like me. You never have to go to the bathroom again.
Okay, Nina
Alright.
Gold, one
Bennioff.
actress who
Bennioff.
got the part but shall remain nameless was reading for Robert Stern, and to everyone's great surprise, suddenly she straddled him and started trying to take his shirt off. Robert, being a complete trooper, didn't say, "Stop, cut, how dare you," and just went with it. I could see Robert's hair slightly standing up on end as he was thinking, how do I get out of this one? And didn't she try to kiss you? Robert Stern. Yeah, it's all about being committed to it, and sometimes they want somebody to hang on to when doing these kinds of scenes. But the pilot's best audition story belongs to British actor John Brady, who had just graduated. And now we have to wait for Dunn.
Great,
So.
great. Let's entertain a chat then. Ask someone, ask any questions, and we'll say something.
Yes.
Let's see.
Normally should have his stream up soon. I think that's 2 o'clock or 3. He's supposed to be streaming Rise Ray and Not a Mary Sue this today.
Yeah, I know. Boy, it's gonna. Since when do vampires need to piss? Well, listen, they still digest blood, okay? Well, they still
Yeah.
process blood, so it's just a red type of urine.
What are you, wise wolf? A human being? You're supposed to be a wolfie.
Check again, mother. Check again. I changed the profile picture. I grew into I gained human. I look like a human. I just have wolf ears and a tail. And slightly elongated fangs and claws.
Ah, lovely.
Okay, so
Okay, we're waiting on you to turn the page.
and Nick Proud is now asking, "How's life going, everyone?"
Yeah,
But
every time I look at your picture done, I keep thinking of that scour mod on the fucking Bethesda net mod page because this has the same picture.
But the pilot's best audition story belongs to British actor John Brady, who had just graduated.
From drama school.
From drama school when he got an opportunity to read for lovable yet plundering Night's Watch conscript Samuel Tarley. John Brady. I wasn't thinking it was one of the most important days of my life. It's only since then that I see it that way. I had to go to London from Manchester, where I live, so I gave myself 4 hours to make the 2-hour journey, only to find the direct train to London had been cancelled, so I had to take this huge detour. Why is that important?
Because he was late. He ended up being late to his audition, but they still decided to cast him.
He
Oh
got
my God,
extremely
look.
lucky then.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Are you
I think
serious?
they-
Are you serious? I figured out what the hell your werewolves look like.
What?
That was not awesome. Weiss Wolf seems to have figured out how normal werewolves look in my book.
Dan
think-
Weiss. We'd probably seen 7 or 8
Truly, I am.
Samwells in person that weekend during a 4-day stretch. We'd found a guy who was great, and it was not John Brady. Nina said, "There's a fellow who's coming in, and his train is late. Would you mind waiting? We're thinking, it's hot up here, we're kind of hungry, but he took the train from Manchester, we can't just not see him." They had every right to say, "No, we're hungry."
Well, it's kind of just like it's technical difficulties. Like it's out of his control that he's late.
Well, yeah, in this case, but he's still damn lucky that they decided
Yeah.
to stay because, after all, we're thinking it's hot up here, we're kind of hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So, John Brady, I've always been an over planner and overthinker. I probably would have overthought myself to distraction and tied myself in knots about the audition if I had time on the train. But I was going at such breakneck pace, I didn't have time to think. Dan Weiss, he ran from the station, then he found out the elevator was out.
Oof.
Oh my god, poor guy. John Brady. So I ran up 3 flights of stairs and burst into their office. I was so grateful they didn't decide to just call it a day. I had to go in completely breathless and with all this nervous energy, which fed into my interpretation of Sam. Dan Weiss. He looked like he was ready to pass out. He was drenched in sweat, and within 30 seconds we realized he just cost this other guy his job because he was completely perfect.
It sounds like one of those Hollywood things. Like you
Except it's like you didn't even have him do anything.
Ugh.
He just showed up. He just showed
He
up out
just
of.
showed up panting and exhausted because he was late and he didn't want to take any more time than absolutely necessary. And you go, "Here, you have the job," without even asking him to read lines?
Part of it is the fact that both he and Samuel Tarly are overweight, just as characters, and I think that part of it was they were impressed that somebody since John Bradley is not like a thin guy, very athletic guy. He's actually kind of fat. He's kind of a chubby man. So like I actually have a lot of respect for him, like running up the stairs because the elevator was out. I have a lot of respect for the guy.
I respect him for that, but my thing here is the way it sounds, they just gave him the part without even asking him to read any lines after he caught his breath.
Yeah.
Because he may fit the part physically, but you have no idea if he can actually act the part.
I think they did have him read since he said that like he did read some stuff up and he did interpret Sam, but yeah. We're getting into I think like I think like this does feed into we had no idea how the casting process worked. But yeah, I think like they got they just got really lucky. Like that's the
consensus here.
Well, no, it's like the consistent pattern. They legit had no idea what they were doing, and they just got super lucky that they got good actors to mooch off of.
Yeah.
So, that's the end of that chapter. Shall we keep reading, or shall we call it a day here?
Yeah.
I think we made far enough. How about we show the memes that they collected last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's show them that.
And last week's top beamer was none other than me.
Of course,
It was
you are the
awesome.
resident meme
And
king.
there are memes with nepotism.
Yeah, it's like, LOL, that chapter looks like a red flag. Yeah, that's the
Yeah, it
problem. That's the
really
pilot.
does.
They're gonna chat about the failed pilot. That's
Oh,
the
that's
what the
next.
How
Yay.
Yeah.
who fucking decided that this whole book was a good idea? Jesus, like
I
they're
think
just showing the whole problems of everything about the show. Like this is the defense of the show. Like self awareness is like
Are
a
you sure?
zero.
I think the
Yeah.
part of it is just the fact that James Hibbert is an idiot, and it's also kind of a sympathy plea as well. It's like because Benioff can't admit that he made a mistake, but he wants to try and gain back favor with the people that he has insulted with his idiotic 13-year-old frat boy behavior.
Yeah, it's time to grow up and be the 50-year-old you are instead of the 13-year-old you act like. Unless he's older than that.
He's 50, yeah.
Okay.
And he's
Yeah.
mostly just failed upward for pretty much all of his life.
Yeah, he just. You need to grow up.
Go up.
You
Well, I don't
need
know,
to
why would he?
mentally grow up, Benioff.
Why would he? He seems to be failing upwards.
That was off topic. We're trying to put the text file of the werewolf race, which I mentioned on the werewolf stream, so I could get some feedback. You could put it on either in writing advice or beta readers call and meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you could probably put that text file. Oh, I most likely might take a look at it.
Okay. Done the memes.
I'm working on it because my thing is just being slow because I'm streaming, so I mean, so that's taking a lot of my processing power because my computer's a bit of a truck.
Sure. Random stuff. Is it on your channel or something?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
my Discord.
Which one is it? Oh, memes. I see.
Let me go upward. Let me go up to the kind of the beginning where we kind of just stopped. Okay. On
an unrelated note, I think TFA is worse than DOJ. Might be.
Force Awakens. Yeah, Force Awakens is pretty bad.
Simple.
Yeah.
It destroys the entire point of the original trilogy.
Alrighty. So when both Wolf and Wolvie are either on or watching the stream, this is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Yes.
Hey, you going to sleep? Yes. Now shut up. We're doing a crappy film, and Neph is going to be there. Immediately wakes up.
Can't relate. You guys always start streaming when I'm going to bed. It's even worse. I'll cancel them out.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
When you're about to make a ranged attack and the rest of the party is between you and the monster, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Okay.
Get good, scrub.
And then here comes the latest ones.
Yeah.
I made a meme dump in the back room of the last after stream.
Yeah. Someone posts a hate comment. Done. More! And this is because we were looking at the comments on the Confused Matthew stream.
You're using the app, the web browser. You should use the app.
I don't have enough room on my computer for the app because Windows 10 eats up my data. Even though I have an external hard drive, I don't use the app. So
Someone posting a helpful comment. Someone posting a hate comment.
The hate ones are always funner.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's just they're so stupid and easy to troll.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Rubbling at someone's salt, you have a small brain. Okay, be glad that you're big enough to get that attention like that. You have a regular sized brain. be glad that the comic. I mean, be glad that the comic gives you more help in the algorithm. Your brain is bigger now. A shoulder that it'll come back boosting the algorithm, and your brain is you're ascending there.
Just hope David Benioff doesn't fucking blue screen my computer again.
Angry, confused Matthew fans complaining about Dunn crapping on confused Matthew's Lion King video. Dunn, who gets boosts in the algorithm from their salt. Leaving a hate comment alone and trolling them so they make more.
Yes. We need their salt mines of Kessel.
What if I told you that all you're doing by posting your salt is getting me closer to monetization?
Yes. I need them for my salt pepper big shakers so I can get all this snow off the ground.
Done.
Whenever someone expresses their salt towards his videos. Popcorn munching.
Yep.
I would make another meme based upon what happened last night, but we'll wait.
Well, I'm going to post that video up on Friday. I'll keep it a surprise for people.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. Speaking of comments, we use more. Yeah.
Maybe someone's head coming along, trolling them. Done.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are pretty short streams. Like, I'm used to more longer, long streams.
Yeah, they've been longer before. You should have seen the confused math, which was like 6
Yeah,
hours.
that one's 6 hours. And the person leaving the comment is going, "You're just salty. Why are you taking 6 hours to go through this when what you're responding to isn't even..."
Oh,
and there was like this one person that said, "Oh, no wonder why you guys keep pausing every 2 seconds. Because if four grown ass adults have that time, I don't know what the hell that comment said, but I was like,
what the hell are you doing here, you fucking hypocrite, piece of shit?"
Yeah, it's like he was going, "I don't like the movie sucks, and here's why," and we were stopping every few seconds because we just could not let the stupid stand.
If your video is longer than the person's video, then you're bad at criticizing videos. Long been bad.
Well,
that's not how it works.
Well, we were covering like two. We were covering 2 videos in a row. One was
we covered his review and then his re-review.
Yeah, it was like
we should do like a TFA review. I think it turned out into that movie.
Oh, we did. It's called the School of Movies podcast. It was 2.5 hours long, and we took about
2.5 hours long.
No, the whole thing. No, the podcast
is 2.5 hours long,
and we took about 6 streams to get through it. Each about 3 hours long, so it's like 12 hours.
Yeah.
What did you guys do? Tross?
No, it's just TFA.
Huh.
No,
I said that one would break my brain.
No, just TLJ. We did get a good meme known as the Rancor progressiveness out of it, where this idiot literally says, like, when you bleat your angry complaints about The Last Jedi online, all we think about is General Hux. Your cries are that of a Gamorrean guard being devoured by the Rancor of progress.
Progressiveness.
No, it's progress. No, it's progress. He says progress. We changed it to progressive. Essivism.
Why not pronounce it progress? Why progress?
And remember, this Rancor dies like 5 minutes later.
It's because these idiots think that left-wing craziness is the way of the future.
And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Yeah.
It's Like, stop. Like, I don't want either crazies to dominate our society.
If they don't, what will we have to talk about?
Yep.
Oh, they can exist. Just don't let them dominate.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
Right,
just.
because we got someone like Movie Bob who is so far left that he jumped off the horseshoe and became right.
Yes, they
But
have
then-
used the long man bad argument against us
Yeah.
because of that. Ugh.
They used
But it
us
was
against
fun.
us.
But the nice thing was, all I need to do to make them shut up is to say, "Thank you for the boost in the algorithm,"
Yeah.
and they just go away because I'm just like, "Oh, I
But
can
they
just
don't
be
got much
polite
to
to
talk
these."
about. They're just
I can-
angry commenters.
Yeah, I can just say like,
And they don't want him to get monetization. So,
yeah. I could kind of just like, so why do you think that way? Hey, come on, justify your position. I'm interested to see your crappy argumentation.
And then they just book it because they have none usually.
no, they actually wrote a whole lot until
Yeah.
he says, "Thank you for the boost."
That's like
What? I don't like to
every
hear
time they keep coming back, they just every time you keep coming back, you're helping me out somehow.
that. Probably a whole bunch of nothing. Like machine.
Seriously, the sooner we get to the monetization goal, the sooner all that suffering will have been worth it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Today was fun. Today was nice and quick. We read a chapter. We'll do another one next week, and we'll just keep going and going and going until we're finished with this darn book.
We should probably amp it up a bit. This is going to take a whole year.
Probably. We should probably. Yeah, I think maybe next week we'll read 2 chapters and probably go for a few hours or a couple extra hours.
That
Yeah.
works for me.
Get some extra watch hours in, and then bring you closer.
Now I'm going to go pester Anomaly, see if I can get on his Ray is not a Mary Sue video.
You'll probably have as much luck as I do trying to convince him to bring on any stream. Period.
Well,
I got
nice
on
thing
2 or
is-
3 of his.
Well, the nice thing is I just kind of have I just I covered that with Smud Boy, and I'm just like, I'm not interested in covering that. That's just a whole load of nothing in headcanon.
Yeah, it's like
My canon is therefore canon. Said no one ever.
it's like there are holes,
Yeah.
but you can't plug them using your headcanon.
Yeah.
If the writer failed to explain the inconsistency, there's no other sorts of canon to confirm it. Then stop trying to put your own
Now
headcanon.
you're reminding me of those fucking Game of Thrones people, like during season 7, how they're just bending over backwards trying to defend this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, the Night King knew what was happening all along.
Yeah.
So, want to hear the German chorus for? Want to hear German for bend over?
Yeah. So anyway, this week we have a lot of the topics planned out, but if you would like to see a topic discussed on our stream, whether it relates to writing, piece of media, piece of fiction, or current events in fiction, please let us know in the comments. Also, if you want to, please join the Discord to get more consistent notifications on my work. Anyway, thank you to my guests, Neph Champion, the White Dragon, and Wise Wolf for coming on the stream.
Hey.
And the one last thing we want to say is this.
Holy shit. Okay, we're going.
Bye, guys.